When investigating this data, we're first going to pull up a graph to represent some data in the table. We're going to drag the average salary to the x-axis and the census region to the y-axis. This splits up the data into 4 different regions: the Midwest, Northeast, West, and South. Since we only want to compare the data in the West and South, we're going to highlight the data in the Northeast and Midwest, click the eye icon, and select Hide Selected Cases. This makes the Midwest and Northeast data disappear, and then only leaving the data that is relevant to our investigation, which is the West and the South. The first thing that I like to do would be to click on the ruler icon and show the mean. This shows us the mean of the salaries for teachers in the West and in the South. If you hover over the line for the West, the mean is 53,646, and then if you hover over the line in the South, it's 50,950. So as you can see by that, the average salary made is more in the West than it is in the South. So by looking at this data, I feel like I would rather work in the West than in the South because the West on average makes more money. I also like to click on the standard deviation. This shows how spread out the data is from the mean. And then I also like to click on the box plot. This shows if the data is negatively skewed, normal, or positively skewed. It also shows the different sized quartiles. As you can see in this data set, it also shows that in the South, more teachers are getting paid below the average salary than above, and then in the West, it's more evenly distributed. So it's an even amount of above and below the salary being paid. I would probably prefer to teach in the West due to this data. I also like to show the count and the percent. The count is showing how much of the total, out of the total chart, is being shown. So 17 teachers are in the South, 13 are in the West, and then out of this data being shown, 57% are in the South and 43 are in the West. Also, when comparing other attributes, I like to drop them in the center of the graph instead of changing the X and Y axis. You can start by doing students per one teacher. The darker the color is the more students, the lighter the color is the least amount of students. In the South, it's smaller class sizes than in the West. In the West is much larger class sizes. I feel as if looking at this, I would rather teach in the South because I'm used to a small town area and I would rather have smaller class sizes. That way I can work one-on-one with the students, figure out what they are struggling with, what they're succeeding with, what we need to work on, what students need one-on-one help, what students work better in groups. You get to know your students a lot better when it's more one-on-one and it's smaller class sizes. When it's more larger, the students don't always get that one-on-one help that they need, and you don't always know if a student is struggling because you have several other students that you have to worry about as well. You can also drop the number of high school graduates in the center of the graph, and this shows that there are more high school graduates in the South than there is in the West, which that's something that we strive for, is to have as many high school graduates as we can. So by looking at this, I would still rather teach in the South than in the West. And then another thing I like to look at is the total number of teachers in the state. You can drop that in the center, and you can see that the darker the color are the more number of teachers, and then the lighter the color is the least number of teachers. And you can see that there are more teachers in the South than in the West. One good thing about there being less teachers in the West, that would mean that they probably need more teachers, so it'd be easier to get a job. But I like that there are more teachers in the South because therefore there are more teachers to help more students succeed. So by looking at this graph, you can see there are a lot of different things you can discover by clicking and dragging and just basically fooling around with the graph. You can see all different types of stuff and then hovering over each line that you're experimenting with and investigating. Overall, I think Codap is a very good resource, can help you investigate and learn a lot of things. It can help you just trial and error, and also it can help you see things that you can't always see on a pencil and paper.